have proof that the groom isn't who he says he is. I can't marry him. I'm calling off the wedding.
Welcome to Reality Folktales TV. This channel is built on real human emotions, real choices, and real consequences. Our stories are thoughtfully created with the help of AI, guided by human values, insight, and intention. Please like, share, and subscribe. Let's go.
The microphone screeched across the decorated hall in Chicago as Daniel raised his glass, his arm wrapped tight around my sister's best friend Rebecca, and said the words that would shatter everything. I want everyone here to know that Rebecca is the real mother of my heart, the woman I should have married, and today I'm choosing her over my wife. The room went silent. 200 guests froze. My sister Lily stood at the front holding their 3-month-old daughter in a white lace gown, her face draining of all color like someone had opened a tap and let her soul pour out onto the floor. I was standing near the back, my hands gripping the edge of a table so hard my knuckles went white. This was supposed to be a joyful day, a naming ceremony for baby Joy. Family had flown in from 3 states. The hall was filled with pink and gold balloons, tables covered in expensive linen, platters of food that cost more than most people's rent. And Daniel, my brother-in-law of 4 years, the man who had held Lily's hand through morning sickness and midnight cries, had just announced to the entire gathering that he was leaving her for her childhood best friend. Rebecca stood there in a red dress that was too tight and too bright for a baby's ceremony, smiling like she had won some kind of prize. Lily's hands began to shake. The baby started crying, a sharp wail that cut through the silence like a knife. Someone's aunt gasped. Someone else dropped a glass. I started moving toward my sister, but my legs felt like they were moving through water. Before you keep watching, I need to know something. Drop a comment right now and tell me where you're watching from and what time it is where you are. Are you watching this at work? Late at night when you can't sleep? On your lunch break? Let me know. And if this story is already breaking your heart, go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe to this channel because I promise you what happens next will blow your mind. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Now let's continue. Lily didn't scream. She didn't throw anything. She didn't collapse. She just stood there holding that baby, staring at Daniel like she was trying to understand a language she had never heard before. Her lips moved but no sound came out. Tears started rolling down her face, slow and quiet, like rain on a window. The baby kept crying, louder now, sensing something was terribly wrong. Daniel cleared his throat and kept talking, his voice louder, like he needed everyone to hear his confession. Lily is a good person, but she's not the woman I love. Rebecca understands me. She makes me feel alive. I've been living a lie for too long. Rebecca reached up and touched his face, her fingers trailing down his jaw like she was marking her territory. I wanted to run up there and slap the smile off her face. I wanted to grab my sister and pull her out of that hall, but I couldn't move. None of us could. Our mother, sitting in the front row in her church hat and best dress, let out a sound I had never heard before. A kind of moan that came from deep in her chest, like her heart was tearing in half. Our father, a man who never showed emotion, stood up so fast his chair fell backward. His face was red, his fists clenched. But before he could say anything, Lily finally spoke. "Get out." Her voice was so soft at first I almost didn't hear it, then louder. "Get out of here, both of you, now." Daniel looked surprised, like he expected her to beg or cry or ask him to stay. Rebecca's smile faltered. "Lily, we didn't want to hurt you, but we have to follow our hearts." "Get out," Lily screamed at this time, and the baby wailed even harder. The sound echoed off the high ceiling of that hall, bouncing off the walls, filling every corner with pain. People started standing up, murmuring, looking around like they didn't know what to do. Daniel grabbed Rebecca's hand and they walked toward the exit, their heads high like they were the victims in all of this. As they passed me, I stepped in front of them. "You're both disgusting," I said, my voice shaking with rage. "You waited until today, until her baby's naming ceremony. What kind of monsters are you?" Daniel didn't even look at me. He just walked past like I was invisible. Rebecca glanced at me with this smug little smile and whispered, "She'll get over it. She always does." Then they were gone, the door slamming behind them, leaving 200 people in shocked silence and my sister standing alone at the front of the hall, holding a screaming baby and a shattered life. I ran to her. Our mother got there first, taking the baby from Lily's trembling arms. I wrapped my arms around my sister and felt her whole body collapse against me. She didn't make a sound now. The tears just kept coming, soaking into my shoulder, her breath coming in short gasps like she couldn't get enough air. People started leaving, quietly, awkwardly, not knowing what to say. Some of the older women tried to offer comfort, but their words felt empty and useless. What do you say to someone whose husband just left them in front of everyone they know? We took Lily home that night. She didn't speak. She sat in the back seat of our father's car, staring out the window at the Chicago streets passing by, the lights blurring into streaks of color. The baby had finally fallen asleep, exhausted from crying. Our mother kept looking back at Lily with this expression of helpless pain, like she wanted to take all the hurt away but didn't know how. For 3 days, Lily stayed in her old bedroom at our parents' house. She barely ate. She didn't shower. She just lay there, staring at the ceiling, holding Joy when she needed to be fed, then handing her back to our mother like the baby was too heavy to carry. I stayed with her as much as I could, sitting on the edge of the bed, not saying anything because there was nothing to say. On the 4th day, something changed. I walked into the room and found Lily sitting up, her laptop open on her knees. Her eyes were red and swollen, but there was something different in them now, something hard. "I'm done crying," she said without looking at me. "I'm done being the victim." I sat down next to her. "What are you doing?" She turned the laptop toward me. On the screen was a list of business courses, consultation services, investment opportunities. Remember how I used to talk about starting my own event planning business? Before I got pregnant, before I put everything on hold for Daniel's career. Her voice was steady now, cold almost. "I'm doing it. I'm building something he can't touch. Something that's mine." I didn't know what to say. Part of me was proud. Part of me was worried she was just trying to distract herself from the pain, but I nodded. "Okay, what do you need?" What happened over the next 2 years was something I still can't fully believe, even though I watched it happen. Lily moved into a small apartment with baby Joy, filed for divorce, and threw herself into building her business with a focus I had never seen in her before. She started small, planning birthday parties and small corporate events. She worked 18-hour days, sometimes more. Our mother would babysit Joy while Lily met with clients, scouted venues, built relationships with vendors. She was different now. The soft, gentle Lily who used to cry at sad movies and always saw the best in people was gone. This new Lily was sharp, calculating, ruthless when she needed to be. She smiled less. She talked less. But she worked more than anyone I had ever known. Every rejection fueled her. Every small success drove her to push harder. Meanwhile, Daniel and Rebecca got married in a quick courthouse ceremony in Connecticut. I heard about it through mutual friends. They posted pictures on social media, looking happy, looking free, like they hadn't destroyed lives to be together. Lily saw the photos. I watched her face when she scrolled through them on her phone. She didn't cry. She just closed the app and went back to work. Her business grew faster than anyone expected. Within a year, she had planned 3 major corporate events in Chicago that got written up in local business magazines. Within 18 months, she had a team of 5 employees and was getting calls from clients in New York and Los Angeles. She rebranded, hired a marketing team, invested every dollar she made back into the business. She was building an empire on the ashes of her broken marriage. I asked her once during a rare moment when she wasn't working if she ever thought about Daniel. We were sitting in her apartment watching Joy play with blocks on the floor. Lily was quiet for a long time, then she said, "Every day, but not the way you think. I think about how he underestimated me, how they both did, how everyone did, and that keeps me going." 2 years after that naming ceremony, Lily's company had become one of the top event planning firms in the Midwest. She had contracts with Fortune 500 companies, celebrities, politicians. She had been featured in national publications. She had money, respect, power. Everything Daniel had tried to take from her, she had built back bigger and better. And then the call came. I was with Lily in her new office, a beautiful space in downtown Chicago with floor-to-ceiling windows and modern furniture, when her assistant buzzed in. "Ms. Lily, there's a couple here requesting consultation for a major event. They don't have an appointment, but they said they're willing to wait." Lily sighed, glancing at her calendar. "I have 15 minutes before my next meeting. Send them in." The door opened, and there they were, Daniel and Rebecca. I watched my sister's face. For just a moment, maybe a split second, something flickered in her eyes. Pain, rage, memory. Then it was gone, replaced by the cool professional mask she had perfected over 2 years of building her empire. Daniel stopped when he saw her. His face went pale. Rebecca's mouth fell open. They clearly had no idea. They had booked a consultation with L. Morrison Events, not knowing that L. Morrison was Lily, the woman they had humiliated and abandoned. "Please sit down," Lily said, her voice smooth and businesslike. She gestured to the chairs across from her desk. I stood in the corner, frozen, wanting to see how this would play out. They sat slowly, looking at each other, then back at Lily. Daniel cleared his throat. "Lily, we didn't know. We can leave if you want." "Why would you leave?" Lily interrupted, folding her hands on her desk. "You're here for event planning services. That's what I provide. Tell me what you need." Rebecca found her voice, though it came out shaky. "We're planning a big anniversary party, our second wedding anniversary. We wanted something special, something memorable. We heard your company was the best." The irony hung in the air like smoke. They wanted Lily to plan a celebration of the marriage they had built on the ruins of hers. I wanted to laugh. I wanted to scream. I wanted to throw something. But Lily just smiled, a cold, professional smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Anniversary parties are one of our specialties," she said, pulling out a tablet and stylus. "Tell me your vision, budget, guest count, venue preferences." Daniel looked uncomfortable, shifting in his chair. "Lily, maybe this isn't a good idea. We can find someone else." "Can you?" Lily leaned back in her chair, her eyes meeting his directly for the first time. "Can you find someone else with my reputation, my connections, my track record? You came here because you wanted the best, and I am the best. So tell me what you want and I'll deliver it. This is business, Daniel, nothing personal." The meeting lasted 45 minutes. Lily took notes, asked questions, made suggestions, all with perfect professionalism. She didn't mention the past. She didn't throw their betrayal in their faces. She treated them exactly like she would treat any other clients, which somehow felt more devastating than if she had screamed at them. When they left, signing a contract for a $50,000 event, I let out the breath I had been holding. "Are you seriously going to do this?" I asked. Lily looked up from the contract, her expression unreadable. "Of course, why wouldn't I?" "Because they destroyed you. Because of what they did to you at Joy's ceremony. Because nothing," Lily cut me off. "They're paying customers, and I'm going to give them exactly what they deserve." The way she said those last words sent a chill down my spine. Over the next 3 months, Lily planned Daniel and Rebecca's anniversary party with meticulous care. She found them the perfect venue, a gorgeous estate in upstate New York with gardens and a ballroom. She hired the best caterers, the best musicians, the best decorators. She sent them regular updates, mood boards, sample menus. Everything was flawless. Everything was exactly what they had asked for. I watched her work on it and I couldn't understand. "Why are you putting so much effort into this?" I asked one night. "Why are you making their party perfect?" Lily looked up from her laptop where she was reviewing floral arrangements. "Because that's what they paid for. That's what I promised. I keep my promises." The night of the party arrived. It was a Saturday in early June, warm and beautiful. Lily had hired her team to run the event, but she went herself to oversee everything, taking me along as her assistant. We arrived early, watching as vendors set up as the estate transformed into something magical. Candles everywhere, flowers in shades of white and gold, string lights hanging from trees, a jazz band setting up in the corner. It was the kind of event that would be talked about for years. Guests started arriving around 7, important people. From what I could tell, Daniel had done well for himself in his career and Rebecca came from money. There were business associates, family members, friends, everyone dressed in elegant cocktail attire, champagne flowing, laughter filling the air. Daniel and Rebecca stood at the entrance greeting people, looking happy, looking perfect, like they hadn't destroyed lives to get here. At 8 o'clock, dinner was served. Lily had arranged for a 5-course meal, each dish more beautiful than the last. The guests raved about the food, the ambience, the attention to detail. Daniel and Rebecca kept smiling, kept thanking people for coming, kept playing the part of the perfect couple. At 9 o'clock, the cake was brought out, a massive 4-tier creation covered in gold leaf and sugar flowers. Rebecca clapped her hands in delight when she saw it. The crowd gathered around as she and Daniel picked up the knife together, posing for photos, getting ready to cut the first slice. And then, before the knife touched the cake, the lights went out. Complete darkness, someone screamed. Confused voices filled the ballroom. Then a spotlight came on, illuminating a large screen that had been set up near the front of the room. Music started playing, soft at first, then louder. A slideshow began. Photos appeared on the screen, Daniel and Rebecca, but these weren't the happy, romantic photos they had probably expected. These were screenshots, text messages, emails dating back 3 years, messages sent while Daniel was still married to Lily, while Lily was pregnant, while Lily was going through labor. Sweet messages, romantic messages, explicit messages, all time-stamped, all real. The crowd went silent. Daniel's face went white. Rebecca looked like she might faint. But the slideshow wasn't done. More images appeared. Photos of Rebecca at Lily's baby shower, smiling and laughing, helping to plan the nursery, acting like the supportive best friend. Photos of Daniel holding newborn Joy in the hospital, his phone in his other hand, messages to Rebecca visible on the screen. Can't wait to be done with this. Can't wait to be with you. Then came the final image, a photo from the naming ceremony. The moment Daniel had made his announcement. Lily standing there holding Joy, her face twisted in pain. Underneath the photo, text appeared. This is what betrayal looks like. The lights came back on. Every eye in the room turned to Daniel and Rebecca. The silence was deafening. Then someone started to leave. Then another person. Then another. Within minutes, half the guests were walking out, shaking their heads, whispering to each other. Family members looked disgusted. Business associates looked uncomfortable. The perfect party was collapsing. Daniel turned and saw Lily standing near the back of the ballroom, her arms crossed, her face calm. He started toward her, his face red with anger. "What have you done? How could you?" "How could I?" Lily's voice rang out clear and strong. "How could I show people the truth? How could I let them see who you really are? You stood up at my daughter's naming ceremony and humiliated me in front of everyone I loved. You thought you broke me. You thought I would just disappear and let you live your happy life. But I didn't break. I built myself into someone you could never touch. And now everyone knows exactly what you are." Rebecca was crying now, mascara running down her face. "You're bitter. You're just a bitter, vindictive." "I'm successful," Lily interrupted. "I'm powerful, I'm respected. And I'm a mother who will never let anyone make her feel small again. You wanted a perfect party. I gave you truth instead. That's what you deserved." She turned and walked out of the ballroom, her head high, her steps steady. I followed her, my heart pounding. Behind us, we could hear Rebecca sobbing, Daniel trying to explain to the remaining guests, voices rising in argument and accusation. Outside, Lily stopped on the stone steps of the estate. She took a deep breath of the warm night air. For the first time in 2 years, I saw her smile. A real smile, not the professional mask she wore for clients, not the cold expression she showed the world, a genuine smile of relief and freedom. "It's over," she said quietly. "It's finally over." We drove back to Chicago that night in comfortable silence. When we got to Lily's apartment, Joy was sleeping peacefully in her crib, watched over by our mother. Lily picked up her daughter carefully, holding her close, pressing her face into that soft baby hair. "I did it for you," she whispered to Joy. "I built all of this for you, so you would never have to depend on anyone, so you would know that women are strong, that we rise from the ashes, that no one can keep us down." The next week, the video of what happened at that party went viral. Someone had recorded the whole thing on their phone. News outlets picked it up. Social media exploded. People were divided. Some said Lily had gone too far, that revenge was petty and cruel. Others said she was a hero, that she had exposed betrayal and fought back against people who tried to destroy her. Lily didn't care what anyone said. Her business didn't suffer. If anything, it grew. Women reached out to her, sharing their own stories of betrayal and resilience. Men reached out too, saying they respected her strength. She got offers for speaking engagements, for book deals, for interviews on major shows. But she turned most of them down. She wasn't interested in fame. She was interested in building her business, raising her daughter, and living a life that belonged to her and no one else. Daniel and Rebecca's marriage didn't last. I heard they separated within 6 months of the party. The humiliation had been too much. Their families had turned on them. Their friends had abandoned them. The foundation they had built on lies and betrayal couldn't stand up to the weight of truth. Lily didn't celebrate when she heard the news. She just nodded and went back to work. 5 years have passed since that naming ceremony. Joy is 7 now, a bright, confident girl who loves to help her mother plan parties. Lily's business has expanded to 3 cities. She owns her own building. She employs over 30 people. She's been featured in magazines as one of the most successful self-made women under 40. Sometimes, late at night when I visit her, I ask if she ever regrets what she did at that anniversary party. If she thinks she should have just let it go, just moved on without the revenge. She always gives me the same answer. "I didn't do it for revenge. I did it for truth, for accountability, for every woman who has ever been made to feel small by someone who was supposed to love them. And I did it so Joy would grow up knowing that her mother fought back, that she stood up, that she won." And looking at my sister now, strong and successful and free, I believe her. The story of my sister teaches us something important about life. It teaches us that betrayal is not the end, that heartbreak can be the beginning of something greater, that the people who try to destroy us often end up giving us the fuel we need to rise higher than we ever imagined. It teaches us that revenge is not always about hurting others. Sometimes it's about showing them the truth of what they did, holding up a mirror to their actions, and letting the world see. But most importantly, it teaches us that we are never as broken as we feel in our darkest moments, that we have power inside us we don't even know about until we're forced to find it, that we can take the worst day of our lives and use it as a foundation to build something beautiful. Lily didn't just survive what Daniel and Rebecca did to her. She transformed it. She took the pain and humiliation and turned it into purpose. She took the broken pieces of her life and built an empire. And in doing so, she taught her daughter the most valuable lesson any parent can teach, that no matter what happens, no matter who tries to break you, you always have the power to rise again. So if you're going through something hard right now, if someone has betrayed you or hurt you or made you feel like you'll never recover, remember my sister's story. Remember that the end of one chapter is just the beginning of another. Remember that you are stronger than you know. And remember that the best revenge is not hurting others. It's becoming so successful, so powerful, so unshakable that their betrayal becomes irrelevant. That's what Lily learned. That's what she lived. And that's what she'll carry with her for the rest of her life. Before you go, I need you to do something for me. If this story touched your heart, if it made you feel something, hit that like button right now. Subscribe to this channel because I share real stories about real people overcoming real pain. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it, someone who's going through a hard time, someone who needs to know they can rise again. Drop a comment and tell me what you thought. Tell me your own story if you want. Tell me where you're watching from. And remember, no matter what you're going through, you have the strength inside you to overcome it. You just have to be willing to fight. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next story.
Thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. May your day be blessed